The night was deep, and the city's glittering lights could not hide the pain and sorrow that permeated its streets. For Sarah, these nights were sleepless and filled with an unbearable loneliness. 6 months ago, the most precious thing in her life, her younger sister, Anya, had been cruelly taken from her in a horrific accident. On the surface, it appeared to be a mere road incident, but Sarah's heart knew it was far more complex and sinister. Behind Anya's death lay the dark machinations of the city's most powerful and ruthless corporate syndicate. Initially, Sarah turned to the law. She made countless rounds to police stations, pleaded her case in courts, and knocked on every door where she saw even a glimmer of hope for justice. But each time, she was met with cold responses, empty promises, and ultimately, silence. The syndicate's influence had blinded the eyes of the law, and no one dared to speak out against them. It didn't take Sarah long to realize that justice in this world was only for the powerful, and the tears of the weak were meaningless. Denied justice, Sarah's heart burned with anger, grief, and a fierce desire for revenge. She looked at Anya's smiling photograph and swore that she would make Anya's killers pay, no matter the cost. But this was not going to be easy. She knew she had to fight a system that was deeply entrenched in corruption. She had to transform herself, to become a Sarah who was fearless and whose heart held only one purpose. Sarah quit her job, rented out her apartment, and moved to a secluded, anonymous corner of the city to live an unassuming life. She spent months training in underground martial arts, honing her hacking skills, and mastering weapon usage. She pushed her physical and mental capabilities to their limits, striving to become invincible. She was no longer the helpless girl whose spirit could be broken with a single blow. She was now a woman of steel-like resolve, calculating and dangerous, with only the glint of vengeance in her eyes. Her first step was to hack into the files related to Anya's accident and gain access to internal reports. She discovered that it wasn't an accident at all, but a premeditated plot to eliminate Anya, who had somehow become an obstacle to the syndicate's illicit dealings. The file contained 3 key names: Mr. Harrison, a powerful business tycoon; Senator Thompson, a politician working for the syndicate; and Mr. Reed, a former military operative who served as the syndicate's personal enforcer. She targeted Mr. Harrison first. Harrison frequented a clandestine gambling club every month, where his security was notoriously tight. She spent weeks casing the club, analyzing its security systems, and noting every vulnerability. One night, disguised as a waitress, she entered the club. She discreetly slipped a substance into Harrison's drink that would render him unconscious without leaving a trace. Once Harrison was out cold, Sarah extracted all the confidential information from his phone and laptop, which included details of the syndicate's numerous illegal activities.
Next on her list was Senator Thompson. Thompson was a public figure known for his seemingly clean image. Sarah planned to expose the corruption hidden within his private life. She hacked into Thompson's mobile phone and retrieved recordings of his secret meetings where he collaborated with the syndicate on various illicit schemes. Sarah forwarded these recordings to a fearless and honest journalist, Rebecca Miles. Rebecca published a groundbreaking report based on these recordings, causing a public scandal for Thompson and pushing his political career to the brink of collapse. However, Mr. Reed, the former military operative, presented a far more dangerous and direct challenge. He was a trained killer and a crucial pillar of the syndicate's power. Sarah knew that a direct confrontation with him was inevitable. One night, Sarah located Reed's secret hideout, an abandoned warehouse on the outskirts of the city. She entered the warehouse alone, where Reed was present with some of his guards. The atmosphere was thick with tension and peril. As Sarah stepped inside, Reed's guards immediately attacked her. But Sarah's training and agility kept her one step ahead. She executed swift defensive and offensive maneuvers, neutralizing the guards one by one. Reed, surprised by what he saw, stepped forward himself. A murderous glint was in his eyes. "Who are you, and what are you doing here?" Reed snarled. Sarah didn't respond, but launched herself directly at him. A brutal fight ensued, between a trained assassin and a woman fueled by the fires of revenge. Reed was physically formidable, but Sarah's speed and cunning were proving superior. She surprised Reed at every turn, anticipating his moves and exploiting his weaknesses. Finally, with a decisive strike, she brought down Reed. As Reed lay unconscious on the ground, Sarah stood over him and said, "This is for Anya." Reed's capture and the information extracted from him broke the syndicate's back. Reed confessed to all his crimes and revealed the names of other key members of the syndicate. Eventually, Mr. Harrison and Senator Thompson were also arrested. In court, Sarah reopened Anya's case, and this time she had irrefutable evidence. After a long and arduous legal battle, the court sentenced Anya's killers. When the verdict was pronounced, Sarah closed her eyes. Tears streamed down her face, but this time they were not tears of sorrow, but of peace and triumph. Anya had received justice. She held Anya's picture in her hand and smiled. The path of revenge had not been easy, but Sarah had not lost her humanity. She had taken the law into her own hands, but her sole purpose was to achieve justice. She had proven that no matter how powerful the adversary, an individual with a strong will could bring them down. Sarah had emerged from the darkness into the light, and her heart now held not the fire of revenge, but the peace of love for her sister and the justice she had secured. Her journey had ended, but her story had become an inspiration for many, an example that with courage and determination, anything can be achieved.